Good morning. No, great morning. Unless maybe you're Keyshawn Johnson or Richard Sherman. It is time to skip the BS. Time for Undisputed. Time for me to say, how about them Cowboys? I think I broke my hand on that one. We didn't look bad last night, did we? Would you believe the team the 49ers left for dead is now 4-2 with a week off and only one game behind those vaunted Niners and those invisible Eagles? How about them? Come on, Cowboy haters. Let me hear from you right now at hashtag Undisputed Live. But most of all, I want to hear from my two favorite Cowboy haters, Keyshawn and Richard, who owe me yet another Beverly Hills dinner off last night's Cowboys 20, Chargers 17. Good morning to you both. It's a great morning. It's what a difference a week makes. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you just look at the record. Yeah.
If
you're just looking at the record, Richard, then yeah, it's a good morning because your team is 4-2. But if you're looking at the opponents and played and how they played, I would still be a little concerned.
Okay, I mean, let's talk about that.
One game or 50 games. You guys are nowhere closer to the 49ers, the Eagles, Detroit than you were 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. Skip.
I see only one game separating us. Only one game.
I second that,
One
Richard.
game, 50 games.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right, Richard Sherman, you are speaking up first, so you go first. I ask you this question. Scale of 1 to 10, how impressed were you with my Cowboys last night?
5? I mean, not really at all.
I got a 5 out of Richard.
It was two lightweights fighting on the undercard. I mean, I got you. You know, it was a game. It was football. Sloppy play by both sides, but Dak played a better game than he has played. Efficient down the stretch, used his legs for the first touchdown, threw a really beautiful pass on the second touchdown. Look what your defense looked like with a different Mike linebacker. A lot faster, a lot more stout against the run.
Another shot at Leighton Vander Esch. Okay.
I'm just telling the truth. I'm watching the tape, Skip. I judge the tape, not the man. And it looked good. Tony Pollard on the ground did not look effective again. No. Once again,
I'll give you that.
He had the play that they just showed where he caught the pass, a broken play, great play by Dak, great play by him, broke a tackle, got out of there, looked really explosive.
Yep.
But you were playing the Chargers. You scored a whole 20 points against the worst scoring defense. I mean, worst pass defense in football. They actually gave up 300 yards a game before this game. You got 272. So. I hear you, Skip. I want to be impressed, but you didn't even get to their average. They've given up almost a little more than what you got in this game. So I was hoping this would be Dak's 300-yard, 350 game, and he would go off. But hey, your guy CeeDee Lamb had 7 catches for over 100. Looked pretty good. Couldn't get in the end zone. Red zone woes continue. Red zone woes continue.
I don't know. 2 of 4 wasn't bad.
2 of 4, 50%. I mean, it just depends on who you are. Y'all were 85% last year. But then you look up and you're like, why aren't we scoring points? Why aren't we getting those turnovers? There was a huge one turnover by Gilly. Great play by him. But where are the sacks? Where's this vaunted defensive line you've been talking about? They haven't got crazy sacks since week 1 against those Giants.
Interesting. Yeah, you did pick the Chargers to win the game. Just for the record, I don't know.
No question. Okay. No question. Skip.
All right.
It certainly could have went either way, though, Skip. Let's be real with each other. Now, you say a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, look, I would give them the fact that they had to do this, it was like if they didn't, you felt it in the entire stadium. I felt it texting with you out the outset when it became 7-0, and you said to me something that I won't repeat.
No, you can repeat it.
I don't like to share information, that's all.
You can share it. Keyshawn saying that what was your about? You lost the pregame fight and now you're going to lose the game.
Yeah.
And I hate jinx text during Cowboy games. I just don't text at all. I have such respect for you, such love for you that I will return your text, but I'm only going to try to unjinx it by saying we're dead, we're done.
Well, it was 7-0, so at that point you probably truly was believing that you were done, considering they went down the field.
But I knew we could score on them if we could stop him.
But you really didn't score on them. I mean, Richard just astutely explained to you, both in the passing game and the scoring department, you guys didn't reach either one of their season's highs. So when you look at it, I was impressed because you needed to. It was a 7 on my scale because you needed this victory.
Yep.
If you just look at the pregame, you needed this pregame, this video that's circling around to get you to a level on an undercard, as Richard liked to say, on a lightweight undercard. You had to have a pregame fight to motivate you internally to try to get something going.
I agree.
And then
that is astute on your part. Thank you.
And then when you look at the celebration, this is a 3-point win. And you could just tell the celebration of the game. Oh, my God, Richard. I thought they had just clinched to go to the damn Super Bowl. The way they were, the players and the coaches, it was like this big stadium on top of their back. Like they just felt like, man, if we didn't win this game, it was getting ready to come crashing down on us.
They got written off by everybody. And then all of a sudden,
they win a game and they go crazy. Even my colleague, my dear friend, and Michael Irvin act like he hadn't won 3 Super Bowls of his own last night, as he said in that stadium. He act like he was just, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw him and the camera pan to him and how he was acting inside the stadium. Then the post game shout out to me about on his social media at the game as if he's never won anything before. I'm so disappointed in Michael for that because it's like, come on, seriously? You needed all of that to win a football game by 3. By 3 points. I guess.
You said they were dead. You said they were done.
I said if they lose to the Chargers, they're going to miss the playoffs. So they didn't lose. So now, Skip, guess what? They still in the mix. But if they lose one of these important games,
another
if you lose these important games.
What's Richard say about if we're a fifth, we'd all be drunk?
You gotta Skip. One of the things that you've got to do, Skip, is you got to compile the victories. And then when you look at it, is that number enough to get you into the playoffs? So far, if the season ended today at 4-2, you would be in. But guess what? It does not end today. Doesn't end today. But they played a 7. They did well.
Okay, so you're going up to a 7 on the impress scale.
Yeah, because they did what they were supposed to do. Your quarterback did what he was supposed to do. Your defense, that's a whole nother story. Like Richard mentioned. I mean, I don't want to get on Micah Parsons. I don't want to do that to him, but come on. I mean, I at some point, it was like, like where's my guy?
Okay, it is now my turn. On a scale of 1 to 10, I was about a 5 impressed with my team because my team should have won that game by at least 21 points. My team was in position to win that game by 21 points. I told you guys all week very long that my team is a very good team that played one very bad game on October 8th at San Francisco. It was as simple as that. It was over and it was done. And I thank you for bringing up the point. As Jerry Jones said on ESPN in the pregame show, sitting alongside the great Troy Aikman, we just need to show some energy tonight. And I'm thinking, yeah, but who's going to detonate the energy in the locker room? Who's going to inspire it? Is it bump on a log, Mike McCarthy? Please drop the Mike McCarthy, Mike McQuandary, as I call him. He can't motivate his way out of a paper bag. Is it Dak? I wish he could. It just doesn't seem to be his forte to ignite the football team. So to your point, Keyshawn, maybe we just need to get into a pregame fight every game down the schedule. Every game that's left, let's go start a pregame fight. And I thought we won the fight because I thought Dante Fowler got in a good shot on Austin Eckler, knocked his helmet off. For what it's worth.
His back was turned. Skip, relax.
Okay, well, he jacked him once right in the jaw and got him good, knocked his helmet off. It was a good shot. Again, you don't usually see that many punches. I thought my young man, Mozzie Smith, I haven't seen him do much on the field, but he was throwing haymakers.
So you need to do that every game?
Yeah, because we were ready to play. I don't think Mike McCarthy was ready to play because right away he says, watch this, Kellen Moore. And by the way, Kellen Moore, was he there last night? Kellen Moore, it seems like Kellen Moore was Kellen less last night because I didn't see a lot from him. I saw, 270-odd yards of offense. I saw 17 points from Kellen less last night. So we don't miss him. But sometimes we are stuck with please drop the Mike McCarthy, and he's trying to show everybody, I'm going to run the damn ball. So right away he goes, run Pollard. And again, Pollard was not impressive running the football last night because he tried 15 times and got a grand total of 30 yards. And if my math is correct, that's 2 yards per carry. That won't work. But that didn't matter because we came right back from giving up the first touchdown and we went down and scored a touchdown. And my point is, my quarterback in games that are of less magnitude can play really well. I thought Dak was easily the star of the game last night.
So you consider this game last night less magnitude?
Then if you say this is San Francisco, a measuring stick for best in football.
You had to win this game. Did you see the way that they acted on the sideline?
Yeah, even Dak said after the game, this was a must-win game.
Yes.
Well, he didn't say it before. If you'd signaled it before, if you told me that before, I'd be more
I don't need
impressed.
Dak to tell me that because I don't watch the post-game shows. I don't need Dak to tell me that because I could clearly see it on the sidelines with the staff, the owners in the box, Michael Irvin, the players on the sideline. You could clearly see that they felt like this was it, one and done. That's how they felt.
All right, so we had all kinds of chances last night, but we had 10 penalties that kept pushing us back and back and back. And we had a 4th and short at the 8-yard line, and Dak tried to sneak it. You just have to go low on the play. They tried to push.
How about just turn around and hand a damn football off? How about that?
Well, because they don't have Zeke anymore, so they don't get to turn around.
But that's okay.
How about doing what Tom Brady did the best of any quarterback ever? Just go low and find the little crease and stick your head up underneath the center for the first down.
This is an argument for the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line and Jason Kelce, because they do this play to the point where people think it should be illegal. I'm watching you guys do it. I'm sure most of the league would be perfectly fine with it being legal if you guys are executing it like that. But at the end of the day, Skip, I did not see enough from that defense that you are hanging your hat on.
All right.
And back to Keyshawn's point about the reaction. When the San Francisco 49ers beat your team by 32 on primetime on a clear barometer game, a clear measuring stick game, I didn't see the sidelines look like that. They looked like they expected to beat you. They did beat you, and they went home and had dinner with their families and went to sleep. Yeah, it's just a different reaction. It's just a different conversation. It's a different expectation.
Look at that.
This team, okay, this is a battle. They're in a battle right now. You can understand there's pressure on them. They feel it. They obviously feel it. That young man feels the pressure, which is fine.
Wait a second. They got buried last week. They got buried by Richard Sherman on this show. They got buried by Keyshawn on this show. They got buried on the football field. They were celebrating their rise from the grave last night.
So you really think that the fact that I'm on Undisputed and I'm talking to Skip Bayless every single day, that the damn Dallas Cowboys are worried about that? So I inspired the Cowboys to go out there and fight, to go out there and win by 3 points. So they should be paying me. I should go in the locker room and talk to them then every week.
Yeah.
That doesn't make, if they got to sit up there and worry about me to get a W.
But it's funny, they watched you guys both pick the Chargers because they got Justin Herbert, and Austin Eckler is back, and they're coming off a bye week, and Khalil Mack is an unstoppable force.
It was a sloppy
and wait
game.
A second. I'm looking down this roster, and I'm saying Keenan Allen and Joey Bosa, and what about Derwin James, and what about Asante Samuel Jr.? You guys were raving about him yesterday, and now you're saying, I'm
not saying anything.
I'm not saying anything, Skip. What I'm concerned about, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and you keep saying they're a very good team, they're not, take the very away, they're a good team. is that offensive line that you keep hyping up, that you keep these offensive line and defensive lines that you're so high on aren't producing. They're not on the field high. They're on paper high, but they gave up 5 sacks yesterday to a team that does not get a ton of sacks. And it wasn't to the guys you would expect.
Gets a
it
ton.
wasn't.
He did
Khalil
the previous
Mack had
game.
1. They had 5. Fox had 2.
Yeah. No, I
Who
got
was
it.
Fox?
What Khalil had the game before?
under-
Didn't he have 3 the game before?
He had 6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 6 the game
He
before.
had 6
right.
the game before.
Yeah.
So
okay.
he had 1 this game. But I'm saying this offensive line that you're so high on, this is supposed to be a top 5 offensive line. You said best in the league. So the best offensive line in the league gives up 5 sacks to a defensive line that doesn't. Outside of Khalil Mack, that game they had no other sacks.
Yeah.
They had no other sacks in that Raiders game. They had Fox. Fox had 2 sacks. There were people that had sacks in this game that had very few coming into this game. So, again, you hype these players. You hyped all this D-line. Who showed up? Micah got a very critical sack, so give him credit. If I had to give him a grade, I'd give him a B- because a B, actually, because he didn't really record a stat throughout the game. He was pretty quiet throughout the game. But when they needed to have it, he was right there, and he made a huge play when they needed to have it. So did Gilly. Gilmore made a huge play.
Okay.
But they had to have it. That's a crucial drive. He made an impact. I give him that. But you got to make an impact throughout the game.
Okay, here's what you both are missing. This point in this boat. What do I say always? My team thrives on, my team is fueled by its pass rush. And it doesn't equate to sacks, actually, because in sacks so far, they're ranked, what are they, sacks? They're 6th in sacks. So they're not sacking at a high rate. But guess what? Last night, they had 18 quarterback pressures. They torment the quarterback. They terrorized the quarterback coming from all sides until Justin Herbert was seeing ghosts in the end. He finally got sacked by Micah, obviously, and then he completely unraveled and threw it to, as you call him, your best buddy, Stephon Gilmore, and the game was over. But last night, 18 quarterback pressures, the most by far the Chargers have surrendered this year. The Dallas Cowboys, since Dan Quinn walked in the door, have had 15-plus pressures in games 9 times. The next on that list is Kansas City with 5 over that time span. Over this time, when they get 15-plus pressures, the Dallas Cowboys are 17-2. That's their record. So that's who they are. That's what they do. They don't actually have to get the quarterback on the ground. They just have to fly at him, rough him up, hit him, distract him, terrorize him. And that's what they did again to Justin Herbert last night. He was off target all night long, wasn't he not? He drove you guys crazy.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. You're right. He was off target, Skip. But you know what I would say saved you guys, Skip? It's the Zebras, again, determined this game. Third and 18, backed up on your own 17. Illegal contact, automatic first down when you clearly got stopped on 3rd down. Illegal contact. I hate this flag in the National Football League. Give them the yards. Stop making every flag on a defender automatic first down because they didn't earn the first down. But of course, they extend your drive. You go on. That was your game-winning, game-saving drive right there. That really would have been stopped on your own 17. Had they just caught a 5-yard penalty and let you replay the down or something, you know. Richard, but in the National Football League, they want it to be offensive. It's a subjective call, and they gave it to you.
Okay, but you cannot contact the receiver after 5 yards. You just can't do it. They're going to flag it, and they did.
Yeah, y'all got bailed out on that one, Skip. I wasn't even going to bring that up. Backed up, 3rd and 18. You getting ready to bring the punt unit onto the punt unit. Actually, was starting to come onto the field. Okay, but you got it, and you're right. The rule is a rule until they change it. That's the rule.
Okay, and could I see what happened on that same drive after that? Could I see the throw to the guy Richard thinks is not a number 1 receiver named CeeDee Lamb? Could I see the 3rd and 6 from the 49, please? The little half roll by Dak and the throw to CeeDee on the crossing route. Do we have this play? Here's Dak. He comes a little underneath, escapes on the run, zing to the number 1 receiver, who is CeeDee Lamb. He looked pretty good to me. He looked like a number 1 receiver last night. I don't know.
Single off coverage?
Yeah, that was the best throw by Dak Prescott all night long.
Off coverage, free access where Duke can just run across the field, stop. Man.
Love it. Love it.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He caught the ball, they delivered it, but you got to slow down with the height.
Then could I see the next throw to somebody named Brandon Cooks, who had not shown up so far this year, and boy, did he show up on 3rd and 9 from the Chargers 32. If I could see this throw. 3rd and 9 from the 32. Dak goes a little high, and Brandon Cooks skied for that. Yeah. I didn't know he could jump like that. He skied.
He closed the cushion. He threatened the defender. There's nothing. I don't have a problem with Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
I like Brandon Cooks.
I finally have a second receiver because Michael Gallup is not the number 2 receiver. Michael Gallup was running around like chicken with head cut off last night. Half the time he looked like some guy who had never played football. And I don't know how many balls he could have caught that could have made Dak's numbers even better than they were.
A lot of you won the game. But when you look at the Chargers defense, they never threatened the receivers at once.
Yeah.
Everything was free access. Dudes are 10 and 12 yards off, allowing guys to catch balls in front of them. They were not challenged. They just wasn't. Brandon Staley defensively, in my opinion, didn't do a great job on the back end. In the front, they got to Dak Prescott 5 times. They were around him. They made him run out of the pocket. Even they should have sacked him on the touchdown. On the big throw to Tony Pollard. But he was able to escape that and deliver the football. You never are taught to throw the ball back across your body. That just goes to show you that defense was completely broken down and didn't do their job in certain situations. I give you the W. You won it.
Yeah.
You won it. You get a W.
We had one blunder play last night that I thought the sky might fall on our heads over because it's the kind of play that a really bad team will quit on, will throw up his hands and say, okay, that's enough. This is not meant to be. But it's on a punt to a Cavante Turpin who does best catch punts. He's really, really sure-handed catching punts. He did not call for a fair catch. All of a sudden, the kid Jalen Tolbert gets blown up, knocked back into him, and then Jalen Tolbert, not coached very well, got to know what the rules are, should not have reached out and touched the live football because all of a sudden it's anybody's football after Jalen Tolbert reaches and touches it, and all of a sudden the Chargers are in business, and I thought we weren't in business, but we battled back and won the game. So you got to give us that. We gave them one there. We just flat out, you say the refs gave us one, or gave us one with the, obviously.
You battled back from what and won the game, Skip?
From that terrible turn. That's horrendous.
Oh, God, stop.
Stop?
You got the ball, man.
No, we didn't get they got the ball.
No, they didn't. They got the ball and they scored right there.
Yeah,
that's right. They did get the ball and score. That's right. Yeah.
No, that's it.
But I hear you, Skip. I just, as a team that you say is very good in a game like this, against a team like this, like you said, it should. If you won by 21, Skip, I would give you a very high score on the impressive scale. I'm sure Dak's stats would be a lot higher. I'm sure your defensive stats would be a lot higher. Your big time playmakers, that pass rush would have got there. You win by 21. But again, early in the season, what was working for you guys? It was turnovers, and you were scoring on defense, and you were sacking the quarterback at a high rate. You can say what you want about pressures. Hey, we just want to be around him. I guarantee you those defensive linemen don't want to just be around. They want to finish the job, and they need to finish the job, and they need to create more turnovers. That's going to be what dooms you. So, yes, it's a good win. It's a good win because they had the pressure on their back. You can see that.
Yeah, it's a good win, but if you look at the opponents that you actually have beaten, and the ones that you've lost to, I get the 3 that comes to mind for me. Arizona beat you, ran the ball down your throat. We know what the 49ers did to you. And then you barely got out of Los Angeles last night to a team that most would say is up and down because of their coaching staff. You beat them by 3 points.
Okay.
You beat them by 3.
Yet all I've heard is that the book on Micah is to run the ball at him and run the ball down Dallas's throat. That's what the Arizona Cardinals did to the tune of 222 yards. Yeah. You both predicted that Belichick would come into Jerry World and with Zeke and Ramondre Stevenson run the ball right down Dallas's throats.
It's a bad football team.
They tried 23 rushes that day for 53 yards.
They're 1 in 5.
23 for 53 yards. Last night, guess what? the Chargers tried 23 rushes for a grand total of 53 yards, just like Belichick did.
Okay.
So did we get the ball run down our throat by Austin Eckler last night?
No one said you did.
Okay.
You won like 3, Skip.
Wow.
You won by 3.
Yeah, and by the way, one last quick point for Richard, who did play cornerback in this league at a high level. I think my young guy, Deron Bland, is pretty good. Again, is he that guy who got hurt and is gone for the season thanks to an ACL in practice? He's not that guy, but he is around the football. He made a play in the end zone on 4th down, knocked the ball down. He had a pick right in his hands at the end of the game, should have held on, but he leads the league in interceptions since he joined this league a year ago. You got to catch that. You just got to catch that.
But the receiver cannot stop.
Yep. Okay.
Skip,
I got
the
it.
damn receivers got to keep going.
Yep.
Just keep going.
Yep.
What are you stopping for?
My defense is really good.
Oh, God, don't start this.
Cleveland.
Don't start this again.
I love my pass rush.
Don't start it again.
Yeah. All right, enough about that. Up next, we got to talk about what's going to happen to these Dallas Cowboys. How will they finish the season? And there's one guy across me who's been leaning toward they're going to miss the playoffs. Is he still there? We discuss that next. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.